After the victory against Team X, Team Z returned to their dorm. The atmosphere buzzed with confidence as they replayed the highlights in their minds, discussing every detail of the match. But celebrations were short. Within a week they would face their next challenge, Team Y. The following morning, Hikaru was the first to spark a new discussion. Why don't we buy the guidebook for Grenade Shot from the Inazuma Lock store? If Renkai adds that to his arsenal, no one will be able to stop him. Renkai crossed his arms, grinning. Can't say I don't like the sound of that. My shots are already enough to crush defenders. But you're right, stronger opponents are waiting. I need to be ready. Naoki shook his head sharply. It's a waste of money. Grenade Shot is weak. There are far better options in the store. Why settle for scraps? Alexander leaned back, recalling faint memories. I've seen players use it. Strong, yeah, but the effort it demands isn't worth the outcome. It's flashy, not efficient. In the end, Team Z reached a consensus. They would hold back. Another week of observation. Another week to judge if such a purchase was truly necessary. Not long after, Shinya excused himself. I'll be spending this week in the nature room, he said calmly. Before this project, I trained in the wild whenever I could. If we're trapped inside this building, then I'll just have to go to nature wherever it is. The others had different plans. Hikaru and Renkai agreed to split their time. For now they plan to do 3 days in the gym and then 3 days in the technique lab, working towards creating original Hisatsu techniques. Alexander and Naoki chose to join them in the gym at first. The gym was alive with energy. Many of the athletes tested their strength, and at the far end, Coach Nikaido was personally training a former Kirkwood player. Nearby, 3 teammates lifted together at the bench press, the determination palpable. Renkai and Hikaru gravitated towards the heavy bags, working on precision and power. Meanwhile, Naoki and Alexander stepped into the boxing ring for the sparring match. Naoki moved fluidly, treating it as practice, but Alexander's eyes burned too intensely. This wasn't sparring for him, it was a war. A few quick kicks from Naoki drew a brutal response, a crushing body check followed by 2 swift punches that knocked Naoki out cold. Minutes passed before Naoki came back to his senses. He said nothing, but his glare promised one thing: he would remember this. They too mirrored the first. Hikaru and Renkai tried new methods at the bags, finding great success. Naoki, unwilling to spar with Alexander again, dedicated himself to the treadmill, hammering his speed into shape. Alexander meanwhile sought guidance from Nikaido. The coach left Yoshihiko Taki with a final order. Keep sharpening those kicks if you want to surpass your brother Sosuke. You will need more than just brute strength. Before turning over to Alexander. Do you want to improve your defense? Nikaido asked. Yes, blocking stronger players, standing firm. I need to master it. The coach nodded and began explaining diet, training regimens and advanced positioning techniques. Alexander absorbed every word of it. That evening, when they returned to their dorm, they found Shinya already waiting, Mud still clinging to his clothes, eyes sharp with something wild. The nature room had changed him. By the 3rd day, half the preparation time was gone. Naoki didn't want to spar once again, and instead wanted to trade blows with a jump rope instead. Alexander stayed with Nikaido, continuing to harden his body and absorbing knowledge of rivals. He asked about Taiga Kishibe, the Kirkwood player he had declared his rival since junior high. Kishibe is still active, Nikaido explained. He plays professionally in Japan, strong but often overshadowed by his peers. His flame burns, but not as bright as some. Alexander gave a quiet nod. The shower washed away his sweat, but not his resolve. That same day, Hikaru and Renkai entered the technique lab, changing their original plans. Shelves lined with guidebooks, strange equipment and notes from past players surrounded them. Sensei from Team W and Mizuki from Team D were also present, each focused on their own path. Hikaru wasted no time. He had long pondered his first original technique, something to close the gap between himself and his former Team Zero comrades. Now he began. Renkai's journey was different. His path before Inazuma Lock had been rough, his body tempered by hardship. He sought to forge a technique not just powerful, but one his body could withstand. Their legends had only begun to take shape. The 4th day saw them back in the lab again. Efficiency together was higher, so Hikaru and Renkai continued side by side. Naoki slept longer than usual, but eventually joined, realizing he too would need a Hisatsu technique if he hoped to keep up. Alexander wandered the halls at first, unsure of his focus, until fate led him to the lab as well. There he found an old friend, Mizuki Makizato, now part of Team D. Alexander, Mizuki smirked. Didn't expect to see you here. Team Z, huh? Lowest of the low, The reunion was bittersweet, filled with memories of victories in junior and high school. Alexander asked if Mizuki could teach him Sargasso, their old two-man technique, but without a willing partner from Team Z, the idea crumbled. Instead, Alexander turned his eyes to another Arakumo move, Crazy Sunlight, yet Mizuki only laughed. We're rivals now. I don't have the time to hand victories to old friends, especially as my team lost its first match. Alexander clenched his fist. The Arakumo days were behind him. A new era demanded a new power. Mizuki also shared news of Tayo. Despite health setbacks, the prodigy had already been recruited by a Spanish pro team after just 2 seasons in Japan. His rise was meteoric, unstoppable. The remaining days were spent in the lab. Each member of Team Z carved their own path forward, chiseling raw ideas into future weapons. And then Sunday arrived. Gathering around their table, Team Z exchanged final words before heading out. Shinya rejoined them, but there was something different in him now, wilder, untamed. He had absorbed the spirit of the nature room and the animal he practiced with. Their opponents waited on the field, Team Y. At the helm stood Tsuyodate Sanenao, better known as Kaicho, always the student council president during school time, and now already dabbling in politics. He radiated authority. Behind him was Kido Eris, a goalkeeper who adored the stars and meteors. In defense, Shingaku Erihito, nicknamed Elite, already a doctor despite his youth. Their midfielders, Usui Tanto, desperate to prove himself as the only one without achievements from outside, and Fuimizu Shinobu, known as Feminine, a model who believed more women should play football, though he never explained why. Once again, Team Z gave away kickoff. Hikaru dismissed Alexander's defensive suggestion with a smirk. No need, they're not worth it. Kaicho chuckled to his team. See, this is why Harmony wins. They'll tear themselves apart for us. The whistle blew starting the match, but Shinya still lingered on the sideline, smirking. You won the last match without me. Let's see how far you get this time. But he still made his way towards the goal at this point. The first pass went to Feminine, who surged forward. Alexander blocked his lane, but Feminine unleashed his new Hisatsu technique, Tsuyokaze Step. A swirl of wind carried him past Alexander, sending the defender tumbling. Naoki and Hikaru closed in, only to be brushed aside by the same gale. Feminine cut through like a storm, passing to Kaicho, then to Usui. For the first time in Inazuma Lock, Shinya had to move. The shot came hard, but his hands were surer. He caught it clean. Alright, he shouted, grinning. Time for our counter! He rolled the ball to Hikaru, who exploded forward. Kaicho barely caught up as Hikaru fed the ball forward to Renkai. Elite hesitated, and that hesitation doomed them. The Fire Striker's shot slammed forward, directly into Erise's hands, as she tried to catch the ball. Initially, she was standing more than a meter away from the goal, but when she stopped the force of the shot, she was just barely on the line. With a long pass, Erise brought the ball to Feminine, who carried it back into Team Z's half. But now he had learned. This time, when the winds clashed, both he and Feminine were thrown aside. Bodies hit the turf, pain etched across their faces. The ball rolled free. Hikaru and Usui sprinted for it, clashing in a brutal duel. Hikaru won and ignored Kaicho's shouts. Play it out! Can't you see that your teammate's down? But Hikaru, after conquering the ball against Usui, simply passed forward. Renkai struck with control. This time, Erise could not resist, and the shot of Team Z's forward blasted into the net. 1-0. Team Z took the lead. Before the kickoff, there was a quick check on how Feminine and Naoki were doing, and both gave a thumbs up to indicate that they could continue playing. And so it continued to the next kickoff, where Kaicho passed to Usui this time. Usui sprinted forward until he met Alexander. Kaicho set off to support him, and he tried to block the Team Z defender, but even together they couldn't get past the silent wall. Hikaru sprinted forward and crossed paths with Alexander, who passed the ball right to his feet. Completely unmarked, Hikaru was also able to quickly guide the ball into the goalkeeper zone where Renkai was waiting. His foot slammed into the ground, a fiery aura seemingly enveloping Renkai's body as he shot the ball directly at Erise with full force and a shout. It was a normal shot, but its power was like a Hisatsu technique, and the goalkeeper couldn't do anything about it. The ball almost burned through her gloves and smashed into the net along with her. The second goal came so quickly that no one had expected it, but the game had to go on, and Team Z was now only one goal away from their second victory. Team Y's nervousness was palpable, and even though his legs were already aching, Feminine demanded to be passed the ball from the kickoff. Once again, he used Tsuyokaze Step and dribbled past both Hikaru and Alexander. The wind was on his side, and that wind also supported another player, Naoki. Team Z's wind midfielder threw himself into another tackle, even though he already knew the outcome. One last time, Feminine used all of his remaining energy and whirled past Naoki with Soyokaze's step. Both of them went down. Once again, it came down to a first touch duel between Usui and Hikaru, which the blonde player just barely won. But that wasn't enough for him. Just barely winning? That's not what Team Zero expected. So he waited for Usui to get back up. And when the tackle came, he sprinted to the side and then passed his opponent. It was a show of power for his ego alone, nothing more. Hikaru ran down to the goal line. No one could stop him. Even when he ran past Aris directly into the goal box, she hesitated to dive for the ball. Only Kaicho reacted when a pass came back to Renkai, but his jump to the side didn't reach the ball, so he could only watch as Renkai received the pass, positioned himself and then shot with full force. Aris managed to catch the ball and quickly threw it onto Elite, but Renkai didn't let the situation end there. He pressed Elite. The player with the doctorate sprinted at full speed, but one thing became clear. No matter how clever you were, if you didn't have the physical ability to use that knowledge, it was worthless. Renkai won the ball. Despite all attempts, despite all good luck rituals, despite all wishes upon shooting stars, when Renkai turned his body and shot the ball towards the goal, Aris reacted too late. She jumped into the corner, but the ball was already spinning in the back of the net. 3-0, Team Z also scored their second goal without any major problems, destroying the dreams of Team Y players, because their defeat in the Inazuma Lock project was almost certain with this match. Team Y left the field in despair, their dreams shattered. Naoki sat silently on the ground, tugging at the grass, pain still etched into his body. Shinya crouched beside him. "You okay?" "The wind tossed you around plenty." Naoki gritted his teeth. "It won't happen again." The second round of matches concluded. Team Z defeated Team Y 3-0. Team U fell to Team W 2-3. And Team V crushed Team X 3-0. And just like that, Team Z had risen further. 2 matches, 2 shutouts. The legend was beginning to spread.